Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to the virtual Lucas Oil Raceway Park here in Indianapolis, Indiana, better known by the NASCAR community as IRP. You're watching live OP Racing Throwback Series action as Season 3 drags on to race number 6 here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park, and this is going to be an interesting one, a light field tonight that we'll get to here in a minute, so an opportunity for a few guys to really pick some points up, especially a couple that have kind of gotten a slow start out of the blocks here in the point standing, so an opportunity here for some guys to maybe make up some points. An opportunity as well for established guys to continue to grow their gaps, all here in the next 250 laps at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. My name is Dawson Wise, joining you here tonight for all 250 laps of this one, live from IRP as round 6 of this series brings us here to Indianapolis, Indiana. If you missed last week's race, Christian Strader in dominant fashion returned to Throwback Series victory lane for the first time since his championship-winning victory at the Homestead Miami Speedway back in Season 2. He's back on top of the Throwback Series tonight, so far provisionally second on the grid as they run right now in qualifying, which is about to wrap up here in just a moment. And we will get this one underway for the first time here tonight from IRP. Again, glad you are deciding to spend some time here on your Thursday with me, and looking forward to what should be a very unique race for this series, considering the amount of cars on track. This should be a strategy-based race. It should be a race with a lot of green flag racing, and this one's going to go really quickly. The laps here, you can tell, 22 seconds. They're going to go by quickly, and we are here to bring you all of it. Qualifying done, over with. Here we go. Everybody's off the trailer. They're through their qualifying laps. They're through their practice laps, and it's time to get on the grid and get underway from IRP for the first time. With that said, we will get into tonight's starting grid of the OP Racing Throwback Series in Indianapolis Raceway Park. On the pole, the fast time tonight, a 22.455 second lap. That goes to Matt Hayden in the 6 machine. To his outside, there's the champ and last week's winner at Rockingham. Christian Strader will start to his outside in second. Row 2, it'll be Cody Eldred in the 4 machine, the Sharpie Chevrolet. To his outside, Hunter Carlson in the 32 for Fast Angry Racing Team. Row 3, Anthony Bledsoe in the 54 returns tonight to the series in the Monster Chevrolet Camaro. To his outside, a fellow Camaro. That is Isaiah Dupree in the 86. Row 4, Rusty Modesty in the 5 machine. The Dude Wipe Chevrolet will roll from the 7th spot. Michael Wingo in the 001 will roll from the 8th position. On row 5, Vicente Guerrero, one of the regulars on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. He'll roll from the 9th position tonight with Randy Bledsoe. To the outside in the 45 machine, Randy, I believe it is his debut in this series tonight in the all-black 45. Rounding out the field tonight, the 388, Doug Johnson, the white and red Chevrolet, back again this week as well. And that makes up a very light 11-car field. So, again, a very unique, interesting race coming up tonight, and that's because we're not used to having this few race cars on the racetrack. We're used to having some more than this. But nonetheless, tonight, a little bit more of a light field, and as such, going to be very interesting to see how this race pans out. 250 laps, they're going to go by in a hurry here tonight at IRP, and I'm glad you're deciding to spend all of them here with me on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Matt Hayden, Christian Strader bring the field off turn number 4 for the first time tonight, as the 11-car field works its way out of the front stretch. Short track racing at its finest tonight in Indianapolis. Here we go. Oh, never mind. We're going to run a second pace lap. My first slip of the night. As we will get ready to get this one underway. Again, 11 cars. Hayden, Strader, Eldred, Carlson, guys like that. Dupree have a chance to really pick up some points. Rusty Modesty as well. Others have a chance to close the gaps. The guys that are not in the field tonight. So an opportunity all around for 11 cars, and a victory going to mean that much more here tonight at IRP. 250 laps on tap on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Round 6 of Season 3 of the OP Racing Throwback Series. As the field works its way off turn number 4, a long roll down to the Geico restart zone for the first time. But here we go for real this time. Into the restart zone they go. Green flag will go in the air. We are racing at IRP. Caution flag on the speedway early in this one. And it is Isaiah Dupree, Randy Bledsoe, and Michael Wingo involved in this. An early caution flag on lap number 2 as they rolled off into turn number 1. Let's see what happened here. Wingo is running in line with Dupree, and Dupree gets on the brakes, and I think Wingo doesn't quite get the memo. Gets in the back of the 86, sure enough. There's the contact. Around goes Dupree. He's going to pancake the outside wall, the back end of that graphic Chevrolet. Michael Wingo gets into it as well, and Randy Bledsoe trying to miss it. Hooks a left right across the nose of Vicente Guerrero, who, to his credit, I'm pretty sure, does a pretty good job of missing that one. No obvious damage aboard the Budweiser Chevrolet. So, for the most part, everybody doing a pretty good job here of missing this one. As we will take another look up ahead at Isaiah Dupree and Michael Wingo as they go off into the corner. Let's see what happens here. Again, you see Dupree's already on the brakes, and the closing rate right there is really fast. Kind of similar to Gateway a few weeks back. If you were with us for the 4th round of the season at Gateway, we kind of had a similar issue to this, where guys were braking really early on in the corner. See on the right side, Bledsoe and Guerrero. Oh, my goodness. Vicente Guerrero, impressive effort. But we were having the same thing happen. The guy would brake. Guy behind him wouldn't quite get the memo in time, and then they'd be together on the entrance of turn number 1. And unfortunately, that is the case right there for those 3 cars that were involved in that one, and it puts us under the first caution of the night right off the bat at IRP. This will be quick cautions. Again, these laps are very fast, so we'll be back under green in no time. We'll kind of go through especially as this race gets into a bit of a green flag run, we'll go through some details of the upcoming schedule for the OP Racing Throwback Series as it, again, works its way through its 3rd season. Some interesting tracks coming up, some potential replacements from what I've been hearing, some rumblings about some schedule changes coming up later in the season, so I'll get you informed on those. As to where we'll be headed next in this series, I know next week, the Tricky Triangle, Pocono Raceway, the location for a race last season, as well as a championship race back in season number 1. That saw Tyler Bentley capture his first OP Racing championship. That is our stop next weekend in the Pocono Mountains, or next week, excuse me, in the Pocono Mountains. Looking forward to that one. And some interesting trips to some very diverse tracks coming up throughout the night. As this race gets into a bit of a green flag lull, we'll give you an idea of where this series heads in the future. And before that, though, some business to attend to is a restart. Coming up on the first time in the race tonight on lap 7. 244 laps remain. And this one at IRP, Matt Hayden and Christian Strader bring the field into the restart zone once again. And away we will go towards turn number 1 as we try to get this one into a bit of a run here at IRP. Green flag is back in the air. Hayden's on the gas and running down towards turn number 1. He will clear on the nose of Strader. It'll be a battle for second. Strader and Carlson, the former teammates, back here tonight, racing actually with one another again. Carlson on that bottom of the racetrack, ringing the bottom, the shorter way around. Strader trying to drag the speed off the top. The battle for second continues down into turn number 3. The This battle works its way up off turn number 4. For now, it will be Strader clearing across the nose of Hunter Carlson. As the field works its way down through 1 and 2 again, Carlson slides in line in third. And stands to bear a lot from this race. Hunter Carlson stands to gain a ton of points tonight that he has kind of missed early in the season so far. A championship contender from last season. You remember back to one of the last times we had a short track on the schedule. He won that race, Martinsville. Hunter Carlson went to victory lane in that race with a strategy called late. Looking to do the same tonight, get back in Throwback Series victory lane for the first time since that race in Martinsville. Field through 3 and 4, Hayden open up a half a second lead on the champ, Christian Strader. And then Carlson and Eldred will now start, will start now to battle for the third position. Carlson driving it in very deep compared to Eldred, kind of keeping it a little more shallow on the entry and using a little bit more exit speed, but now Carlson starts to drive away just a little. The battle will be back here around the Vicente Guerrero and Randy Bledsoe machines for the 6th position. Race starting to enter its first green flag run of the night. Michael Wingo out of shape, but keeps it together. And now everything has singled out here for the first time tonight. Not a ton of great battles on the speedway right now. Lap 12 already on the board. Oh, Guerrero pounds the outside wall hard right there off turn 4. Almost a wreck back here around Doug Johnson and Michael Wingo. Or excuse me, Doug Johnson and Anthony Bledsoe. But they get it back together and continue to roll. And now a side-by-side battle. Guerrero has 6. Bledsoe wants it. Deep drive into 3. Will he try to slide up? Slider, can't quite get it, but Guerrero, very graceful there, backs out of the throttle and gives the spot over to Randy Bledsoe. Rusty Modesty in the wall just ahead of these guys in 5th. Guerrero trying to cross back underneath, not going to happen right now. And the battle for the lead starts to heat up just a little. Matt Hayden, Christian Strader, Hunter Carlson under a 1-second blanket. As Hayden crosses, Matt lap number 14, he's looking for his first win since last season at, I want to say, Watkins Glen. In the middle of the season last season was Matt Hayden's last trip to Throwback Series victory lane. He looks to get his next trip to victory lane tonight and boost his season just a little bit as well. In terms of the standings, we'll be referencing those tonight. Again, a lot to gain for a lot of drivers right now. Well, we may not be referencing those, at least right this second. We will reference those later on in the night, though. But a lot of guys stand to gain a lot no matter where you are in the running order tonight, because several of our big-time contenders are not in the field. No Hunter Reynolds tonight. No Trey Galgan tonight. A couple other cars are missing. That these guys, mostly, Hayden Strader, Carlson, Eldred, Modesty, really everyone in the field could stand to gain. Hayden by 4/10 over Strader, by a second over Carlson. Now make it 1.2. As Matt Hayden crosses lap 17 of 250. 234 laps to go. We expect, based on last week's numbers, to probably have somewhere in the range of a 60-lap fuel run. I imagine it'll be about a 4-stop race again. So anywhere between 50 and 60 laps is what I expect the fuel run to be tonight. And again, this race will be by in a jiff. This race will go very, very quickly. Already 18 laps in. We've already had a caution. We've only been racing for 10 minutes. Maybe less than that. We've already had our first caution. Our entire pacing sequence, which was 2 pace laps. And now some green flag racing as well. Hayden in the wall on entry. Up to the top side. Going to try to carry that speed and stay ahead of Christian Strader. And he will do so for now. Strader back to the bottom. Had to dip out a little bit. And it messes up his entry. But Christian Strader starts to hound on the 6 of Viagra Taurus for the race lead. But for now, Matt Hayden fends off Christian Strader's advance. And now Carlson starts to put him under some fire. Cody Eldred not out of this either. And Rusty Modesty starts to close in on the leaders. Matt Hayden, one of the guys very much in the points standings. In the points contention, excuse me. And we will try To give you an idea of what the points are looking like coming into tonight. Let's see here. So coming into tonight's race, well, actually the 5th race last week not accounted for at Rockingham, but actually there's several races not accounted for, so. As of Kentucky several weeks back, and now 2 weeks ago. So before Kentucky, Trey Galgan had led the points by 63 points over Christian Strader. Chris McCullough also not in attendance tonight. He was 3rd in the standings, and Matt Hayden was 4th in the standings. 2 weeks ago was 114 points back. It will not be 114 points after the last 2 weeks. Cody Eldred will gain a lot tonight as well. So Strader, Hayden, Eldred, the 3 with the most to gain. After that, Johnson, Dupree, Guerrero, Carlson, all guys that could really use some points tonight to keep their seasons alive. And as such, they will gain a lot from tonight's race. Battle for the lead continues. 23 laps already down. 24 on the board. This race is flying by. Hayden under fire from the defending champion, Christian Strader, but the outside continues to work its magic for the Matt Hayden machine, and he's able to maintain the lead for now as Carlson and Eldred have fallen back a ways, but Modesty, Randy Bledsoe have started to close in just a little bit on the race leaders. Now Hayden crosses down to the middle, and Strader runs that top lane. And now will this change anything? Hayden moves down the speedway, but now they run identical lines there in 3 and 4. And already 10% up and down here at IRP. As 225 laps remain, we're about halfway, maybe a little less than halfway through our first pit run. And again, this race will go very quickly. Lap times have fallen off by about 0.7 of a second for the leader, Matt Hayden. 0.6 for Strader, and half a second for Carlson and Modesty, who remain the 2 fastest cars on the speedway as of that lap. Hayden middle, now drifting top. Strader ringing the fence, which that's not going to work. He has to lift out, but he will gain a ton here on exit. It'll be about 2 car lengths back of the leader, and Carlson closes in a little bit once again. We're about to have a battle for the 4th position, I think. Rusty Modesty's the man on the move right now. Well, we were going to go up there. We'll go back here to the battle for the lead because I saw it starting to develop. But Rusty Modesty is side by side with Cody Eldred for 4th, but he washes up just a little in 3 and 4. It's a good battle going on back here. Modesty cannot make the pass. Eldred, it's like Ryan Newman. Very tough to pass. Modesty, will he clear up on his nose here? No, he will not. Now he may clear him in the middle of 3 and 4. Eldred drives it in deep, though. And finally, Modesty gets the better of that battle and moves forward to 4th and now can put his eyes forward. But only for a moment. Crossover. Nothing doing. Modesty eyes forward now from 4th. Hayden, Strader, Carlson, still your top 3. As 220 laps will remain off turn number 4 and at the line. Matt Hayden, Christian Strader, Hunter Carlson, Rusty Modesty, Cody Eldred, your top 5. And again, 20 laps short of lap 50 already. These guys are running 23-second lap times. If this race stays green, we're going to be out of here by 10:15, 10:30. Just a torrid pace being set right now by the leaders. Modesty seems like he used his equipment to get past the Cody Eldred and Randy Bledsoe machines, and now he drops some time to the leaders. He's 3 seconds back. Leaders are all still under a blanket here on lap 33. The 6, the 29, and the 32 all seem to have pretty good race-winning speed so far. Modesty on a short run seems to have that speed. Hayden about a 3-car length buffer back to Strader, so he's kept that gap open more so than it has been the first little bit of the race as the first pit stop approaches. So continuing under the green flag, down to about 2 car lengths back now for Strader. Continues to hound the 6. Michael Wingo is coming up, a lap car. What will be a lap car. He played a pivotal role here in this battle for the lead. Hayden down the front stretch, a car length now separating the 2 leaders. As Carlson has stayed right about that 1 second mark back from the back bumper of the Viagra Taurus. Strader tries the bottom, doesn't work, and Hayden gains a little bit more ground, and it's 2 car lengths, maybe 3 again on the entry of turns 3 and 4. As by the line, Hayden, Strader, Carlson, the class of the field right now 3.5 seconds back to Modesty. Kind of a cat and mouse game right now of who's going to use what line and is it going to work. Wingo appears to be staying high, and this may affect the leaders here off turn 4. Let's see where he goes. Wingo bails to the bottom of the racetrack and allows the leaders to run their racing line. And now Hayden starts to pull away, about a 0.5 second lead on Strader now. And 1.15 seconds back to Hunter Carlson, over 4, almost 4, excuse me, back to Rusty Modesty. "39 laps have come and gone at the Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Now coming down to 40 laps complete, 210 to go here at IRP as we kind of set the stage over the course of the next couple hours for the racing weekend that we have approaching us across multiple different series, virtual and otherwise. Of course, tonight, the Throwback Series right after we're done here tonight. It's the PGR Esports Thursday Night Takeover presented by McCullough Motorsports. And you might recognize that name. That's Chris McCullough's team. It runs here on Thursdays, as that team will be hosting a takeover of the PGR Esports race normally on Thursday night. Tonight, Xfinity Series cars at Daytona, which again sets the stage nicely, because tomorrow night at the Real Life World Center of Racing, tomorrow night, the Real Life World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. It is the Wawa 250 powered by Coca-Cola for the NASCAR Xfinity Series as the playoffs loom for NASCAR's Top 3 Series. Tomorrow night, a big-time wild card for that series, for both series running this weekend. The Xfinity Series gets the weekend kicked off tomorrow night in prime time with what should be a really, really fun race. A lot of cars going to be in for that win. Xfinity Series always puts on a good show. And then, of course, the main event this weekend, Saturday night, along with many of the grassroots racing that will be happening across the United States. And many local tracks will also have the NASCAR Coke Zero Sugar 400 from Daytona International Speedway. And it's 2 races remain until the NASCAR playoffs. We'll either put another driver in the field, or another driver will claim another win and some more playoff points on Saturday night under the lights at the Daytona International Speedway, the birthplace of speed. Good battle for a moment there for the lead. Strader got back to Hayden, had a lunge at him, but no cigar either way again as we approach 50 laps complete, almost 20% of the way through this event tonight, and it is only 9:27 on the East Coast. This race is flying. Lap times for the leaders just inside of 23.5 seconds for our leader Matt Hayden and our third place car Hunter Carlson. 23:39 for Isaiah Dupree, as he was one of the fastest cars on the speedway. That time Strader faster than the leader by 6/100ths of a second. As we approach what we assume to be the first of a few pit stop cycles tonight. So again, a big weekend of racing, obviously starting tonight. We kind of start to get a little bit of an appetite for good racing this weekend. Tonight, a double feature. Throwback Series and PGR Esports. Tomorrow night, the Xfinity Series Wawa 250, powered by Coca-Cola. And then Saturday night, a ton of grassroots racing across the country, as well as the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at the Daytona International Speedway for the NASCAR Cup Series. Next weekend, Darlington for the Cup Series, Pocono for the Throwback Series next week. But the Darlington race will be the Southern 500 weekend, as the NASCAR playoff fields will be set for all three series. The trucks actually opened their playoffs this weekend in Milwaukee. "50 laps complete at IRP, and it is Matt Hayden that continues to lead by a car length over Christian Strader and a second and a half over Hunter Carlson. Everybody else 5 seconds or more behind the race leaders, excuse me. Strader has continued to put pressure on Matt Hayden, trying to get around him for this pit cycle, trying to make it back-to-back after he failed to win the first 4 races of the season. Looking to try to make it back-to-back here in races 5 and 6 to the inside. Strader on the bottom, ringing the shorter way around the speedway. Can he maintain? No, he cannot. Another lunge, another failed attempt. Hayden will keep the lead. Strader will draw back to the back bumper of that 6 machine. He'll get a good drive off turn number 4, but not enough to get back to the inside and establish any kind of track position. Another lap car coming up. Randy Bledsoe already a lap down. So is Michael Wingo. So is Doug Johnson. Anthony Bledsoe is next up. He's a half a straightaway in front of the leaders. Inside of 200 laps to go. Hayden, Strader continue to battle for the race lead. Strader will get in behind again. Just cannot get past that car. Isaiah Dupree's driven all the way to 5th. The problem is he's 11.5 seconds behind the leaders. Modesty gained a relatively low amount of time back there that time by. But he's almost 5 seconds back, so he's got some ground to chip away at here. 195 laps to go. Again, approaching what I thought was going to be our first pit stop. 60 was the number I had in mind. If that's the case, a 4-stop race. If they can make it past lap 65, it will be a 3-stop race. But they will not be able to do so, as Christian Strader will bail from second. He will come to pit road and be the first car on the pit lane on this first cycle on lap 57. Hayden, I imagine, will match play him here as they come down the back straightaway. Carlson may do the same. Let's see if both these cars pit. Hayden going to stay on the speedway. And Carlson will as well. Rusty Modesty on pit road. Is everybody else going to stay out? Hayden will almost lap Christian Strader, but he will come to pit road this time by and bail from the lead. Hunter Carlson now leads the race, one of the only cars left on the speedway. Cody Eldred coming to pit road this time by. Carlson, Dupree, Guerrero, the last 3 cars on the speedway here that have yet to pit. Schrader will get in front of Hayden here on this first pit cycle. And Carlson will bail. Dupree, last car on track yet to pit. Schrader opens up a 2.6 second lead on pit lane. The tires mean that much. Now Carlson may get the advantage of about 5 lap fresher tires when he comes off pit road. But he's going to be passed by these guys as well. Schrader on by. He will inherit the lead. Hayden is 2.5 seconds back. And suddenly, after a pit cycle, this race starting to look like last week's race. Schrader was hounding Hayden for a really long time, and now that he's passed him, he's putting the lead on him. And it appears that no one is going to be in the class of Christian Schrader today, as he is the fastest car on track right now. He's going to lap Vicente Guerrero, put him another lap down. That'll be 3 down for Guerrero. Once Schrader inevitably makes this pass. Well, but he's having a little bit of trouble. He'll have to stay behind Guerrero for now. He's lost 0.5 of a second already to Matt Hayden. Now starting to pick up some time again. And again, all of a sudden now, Christian Schrader running away from the field. And with that being said, let's do a couple things now. Let's go through the field. So do a full field rundown, and then after the full field rundown, we will go through the schedule. Oh, trouble! Right in front of the leader, right as we were going to do that. Vicente Guerrero, he's going to loop it back in front of the field, and that will bring out the caution flag for the second time tonight, as Vicente Guerrero goes around on his own accord. Almost held on to it, but was not able to. You saw it right in front of the leader. He goes into 3, gets a little bit loose, actually comes off the wall. And right there, it's already out of shape. He's trying. And it's kind of like last week. I talked about it a little bit last week. You're turning right, and then bite. And once it just bang. It like happens so fast, it just bites the racetrack, and then you're all along for the ride. You're going into the outside wall. There's nothing you can do about it. Unfortunately, that is exactly what happens for Vicente Guerrero right there. As we will get a little bit better camera angle than this. You might be able to see those white gloves inside the race car. Look at right, still going right, still full right. So you see him turn right. Now watch it bite. Bang. And once it hooks back to the right, you're along for the ride. You see locks it down and gets into the outside wall. I'll show you from the cockpit camera as well. Right. Bite. And right when it bites, it's unfortunately almost impossible to save. And he goes around in front of the leaders, who came to pit road under the caution flag, and Matt Hayden re-inherits the lead. So a bit of a lifeline extended to the 6 as he gets the lead back on pit road under the second caution of the night. We're going to go to our first ad break of the evening on lap number 70. Stay with us. We'll be right back to the action from IRP here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Welcome back to IRP. 70 laps complete, 180 still to be run here tonight, as Matt Hayden has re-inherited the lead on pit road. It'll be Hayden, Strader, Modesty, Carlson, Eldred, the top 5, and Randy Bledsoe, Anthony Bledsoe, and Isaiah Dupree, the 8 lead lap cars. The cars are laps down are Vicente Guerrero and Michael Wingo of the ones that are still running, and Doug Johnson called it a night on lap 44. They'll be credited with the 11th position tonight. Double file once again. Restart coming up on lap 73. And once we got back green on that last run, we got into a big-time green flag run that for a second I thought we were going to get to if we got to a second pit stop, this race was probably going to run green all the way until the checkered flag. We'll see if we can do that again right here, though. Another run-up coming here as the leaders bring the field back into the restart zone, led by Matt Hayden, who got the lead back on pit road this time around under the caution flag. Into the Geico restart zone once again. Green flag will go back in the air, and it's a nice jump for Matt Hayden in the 6. Not as good as he got on the last restart, but a jump nonetheless. He'll try to stay in front of Christian Strader now. Modesty to the inside of Strader. He's got really good short run speed. What can Rusty Modesty do here in the Dude White Chevrolet early in the run? Can he get his night turned upside down? Big battle for second on back as Hayden tries to drive away. Strader got to hang a left off the wall and not quite going to clear Modesty. Almost going to. Now he will. In the middle of turns 1 and 2. And here comes Christian Strader. And now he'll try to run down the leader, Matt Hayden. He passed him on the green flag pit cycle. Got passed again on pit road and now has to do all that work again. Oh, but trouble. And this one's going to involve Randy Bledsoe. So this one was back here in turn 3. As Bledsoe goes to the inside of Carlson, he tries to throw a bit of a slider. And he gets just a little bit too close to the nose of Hunter Carlson. That gets him sideways, knocked out of line. And man, Dupree piles in. Eldred piles in. This ends up being a pretty sizable incident. Let's go to the drone cam here. Carlson turns it off the wall. Bledsoe dives it deep into 3. And he's going to drive deep enough to get clear, but not deep enough to get all the way across the nose. And he gets a little bit of contact there from Carlson. And it sends him sideways. And now watch as Dupree and Eldred pile into this. I mean, there's not much you can do there as a driver. These cars don't like to stop, and Dupree and Eldred certainly no exception there. As they get collected. So we'll try to find another camera to look at here. Go to the chopper camera. Oh. We'll look at one more angle here. And that'll do it. Bledsoe gets across the nose, gets turned, and it's going to get collected by Carlson, Dupree, and Eldred up in the banking of turns 3 and 4. So back to live action. We'll go back green on lap number 79 of 250. Or actually lap 80 of 250. So with 171 laps to go, we will try this again. See if we can get a run going this time around when we come back to the green flag next time by. Modesty now will line up on the inside of row 3. Interesting development. Or inside, yeah, the inside of row number 2, excuse me. From position number 3. Lights are out. We're going green this time by. And we will give this another shot. Pace truck hard left down pit road, and again we will try this, and we can't get a bit of a run going. Into the Geico restart zone now for the 4th time tonight after the 3rd caution has been cleaned up. And we'll try this again. A green flag is back in the air once again from IRP, and it's a really good jump for the 6th car of Matt Hayden this time. Modesty got a good jump behind him. He will jump straighter and go right to 2nd. Now can he hold that position? Strader will cross over and now set his sights on getting the 5 and the 6. Modesty drove it deep into turn 3. Strader backed it up just a little bit. And Modesty now a car length behind the leader. Trouble out back. Michael Wingo got sideways. Collects Cody Eldred and another caution flag. I think the start's actually in 3 and 4. Wingo gets up the speedway. He's going to get into Hunter Carlson here. Get him sideways. So that actually happened well before the wreck started. We're good here, good here. Oh, man, Dupree right through the back of Michael Wingo. And Wingo spins, tries to save it, and overcorrects, comes back to his left, and then this is where the caution flag is thrown, is right here. As he gets into Randy Bledsoe, collects Cody Eldred. And they both spin. And that's what brings out another caution flag. Kind of watching it back through. See the contact there with Wingo and Carlson. Then watch Dupree. Not really able to stop. Gets in the back of Wingo. Gets Wingo sideways. He almost saves it. Kind of uses Dupree as leverage. But it overcorrects back to the left right here. And it's going to get into Randy Bledsoe and Cody Eldred. Oh, man. Big hits all around right there. Yes. The 2 cars tried to miss it. So 4th caution of the night here from IRP in lap 84. 40 laps short of the halfway point. 166 to go at the line. And we are pacing under our 4th caution of the night. Lights still on above the pace car. We are going to go to another brief ad break as we continue to work lap number 85 of 250. Stay here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. You won't miss a thing. We'll be right back for the restart.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to IRP. Green flag coming back out on lap 87 of 250. Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty on the front row. And let's try this one more time. Green flag is back in the air. We're back racing from IRP. Hayden, another good jump, drives it deep into turn number 1 and will maintain the lead. Modesty able to hold on to second. Strader battling now Anthony Bledsoe for the third position. So Anthony Bledsoe, welcome to the front. The Monster Chevrolet for the first time tonight. As he's able to get a pretty good drive right around the defending champ, and Anthony Bledsoe is here to crash the party. Strader will have to settle, I think, to run in fourth. They're still side by side, but Bledsoe now closes on Modesty. That's for second. Anthony Bledsoe making his presence felt tonight at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Into the top 3 goes the 54. Can he get any more than that? He's going to try, now hounding Rusty Modesty for second. Hayden leads by 4 car lengths. Bledsoe right on the bumper of the 5 car. Bledsoe loose right in front of Hunter Carlson. He'll lose some ground now, being the crosshairs of those drivers. They might be 3 wide for that spot. They are going to be 3 wide. 3 wide for the first time for a moment, as Bledsoe got put all the way to the outside wall in the ringer by the teammates. But now settles in Anthony Bledsoe. How about this? The series rookie this season. Bledsoe now really under fire, though, from those 2 cars. Carlson on the inside, Strader on the outside, and both, along with Isaiah Dupree, now hounding the back bumper of, oh man, Anthony Bledsoe, he's way loose on exit. Carlson to the bottom. He'll be the first to challenge the 54. Bledsoe up against the fence. Strader taking a look, 3 wide, almost some contact. 3 wide on the front stretch in IRP for a moment. Bledsoe trying to hang tough on the quarter panel of Carlson, trying to drive it hard off the corner. It will get cleared by the 32. Almost, oh man, almost collects the 32. Bledsoe, that was really close. Carlson on by for third. Here's Strader for fourth. Dupree, does he try to split the middle for fifth? Not yet. Bledsoe hanging tough now, fourth position. Strader going to try to drive past. Bledsoe in the wall, Dupree in the wall. Bledsoe has to drive off the fence. Strader on the far bottom of the racetrack, a vast difference in lines. And now blinks, and now it's back again, but holds off Strader again. Bledsoe dangerously close to that outside safer barrier, wiggled a bit in the middle of the corner. Strader now dead even. Strader even up, half. Almost clear. Dupree trying to come with him. Strader, can he clear Bledsoe? He can. Drives across the nose. Strader to fourth. Dupree forward trying to get fifth. And he will get that position, and Bledsoe drops to sixth. Really fun stuff in the middle portions of this one. Hayden by half a second. Modesty hanging around. Carlson, Schrader starting to close the gap just a little bit. Approaching triple digits. Modesty to within a car length now of the race leader. This will be a battle in a moment. Modesty's found some mid-race speed. Carlson has found speed. So too has Strader. All three cars chasing the Viagra Ford Taurus, the number 6 of Matt Hayden. Next time by will tick over to 100 laps at IRP, and only, I'd say, about maybe 2 pit stops remain. Maybe 3, but I doubt it. It's really close. It's really close. Hayden still by a car length, then about another 3 back to Carlson, and Schrader closes in even more back in fourth. Dupree starting to drive towards the leaders as well. We could have a really good race on our hands here in just a few moments, because the 3 cars running third, fourth, and fifth have picked up the pace. Notably, Randy Bledsoe parks it here out of the 10th position on lap 81, and Anthony Bledsoe, I believe, also just parked the race car on lap 98. His night is complete as well. 7 cars on the lead lap, back to Vicente Guerrero. 9 on the racetrack, back to Michael Wingo. Half a car length. Modesty is there. Now he loses 4 car lengths again. Hayden gets a nice drive off the corner and drives away. Carlson now closing on the back bumper of Rusty Modesty. Strader closing on all these cars, and Dupree may be the fastest car on the racetrack. Let's check lap times. And he is not the fastest car on the racetrack. That honor belongs to Christian Strader. That time by, though, not even close. Isaiah Dupree is the fastest machine on the racetrack right now. Strader for third. He's really got that bottom line wound up right now. Made it work on Bledsoe, trying to go to work now on his teammate Hunter Carlson for third. Carlson trying to ring around the top side, run that fence. Look at how much that 29 car turns in the center of the corner. It's unreal. Dupree looks to the middle. Dupree looking center. Dupree's going to pass him here. He's going to pass the 29, and he'll go to fourth in a moment unless Strader can really get that bottom line wound up again. He will not. Can he slide up in front of Dupree? He cannot. Dupree drives it deep in on the fence, and he will pass Strader for a moment, or will he? He will. Dupree to fourth. Crossover down the bottom of the third. Trying anyway. Carlson's been tough to pass. Oh, they wreck! Carlson gets turned, and the caution flag comes out. And just like that, now it is a 2-stop race. Well, you saw this one happen live. We'll watch it again, but Carlson gets a little bit loose here off the exit of turn number 2. You see Carlson, he's going to get loose or get the wall. He's going to get loose. Turn down the speedway, and Dupree, nothing he can do. Nothing either of them can do there. Tough braking for a second. I thought this was going to go without a caution flag, but Carlson got just enough around that they get lucky. They get a lifeline. The caution flag comes out. Look at another angle of it. So you go to the drone cam here. So watch Carlson. He's going to get loose trying to keep it off the wall, and these two cars get together. Slide down and pancake together on the inside wall. Both able to keep going, neither with particularly bad damage. You'll be able to see it here. Watch Carlson try to hold it off the wall. He's just trying to turn left and keep the car off the wall. It kicks out from under him a little bit, and Dupree, there's nowhere either of those cars can go. And that's what brings out our 5th caution flag of the night from IRP, as Matt Hayden continues to lead the way over Modesty, Strader, Eldred, Carlson, Guerrero, and Dupree, the only 7 on the lead lap. 110 will be complete, 140 still to go. We approach halfway, 15 laps short of the halfway mark, this time by from IRP. Should go green, not this time, but next time. Coming to lap 113 is when we'll get back under the green flag, and the pit cycle as such will take place around lap 170, and then about lap 225 is when we should expect our last 2 pit stops of the night. Give or take a few laps on either side of that. If Isaiah Dupree or one of these cars decides to run long again, you could see these guys run till about 174. And then about 234, 235 at the end of this race. But as we saw in the first green flag pit stop, the undercut really did not work as well as guys had planned. So, or excuse me, the running long did not work. The undercut seemed to be the best strategy. So I imagine that guys will come early on these next 2 pit cycles. Here we go again. 8 cars on the speedway. 7 on the lead lap. Green flag is back in the air. We're back racing with 138 laps to go at IRP. Hayden to the lead, Modesty to second, Strader to third, Eldred to fourth, and it's Carlson, Guerrero, and Dupree. As the cars on the racetrack lessen and lessen, these guys likely enter into a long green flag run here. They're already spread out. And we are 10 laps from halfway. And Hayden leads Modesty by half a second. Field up off turn 4. As 135 laps remain from the Indianapolis Raceway Park, many of them have been led by the pole sitter Matt Hayden. Relinquished the lead to Christian Strader for a brief moment on green flag pit stops, has taken it back ever since. Top 5 relatively under a blanket. Strader looking for second on Rusty Modesty. Eldred Carlson riding not far behind. That's going to be the best battle on the racetrack here in just a moment is those two cars, but Strader unable to get closer to about a half a car length to the back bumper of Modesty, so hold off on that. Both cars, though, have reeled in the leader again. But how much of that is Matt Hayden saving? How much of that is those guys really digging in and going for it? We'll wait and see. Five laps short of the halfway mark. Still all the same, all chalk throughout the field except Dupree has gone by Vicente Guerrero for sixth. Everything else is still chalk. Top 5 exactly the same as when we went back green a moment ago. Oh, Hayden. He got the fence a little bit. It opens the door for Rusty Modesty here off turn 4, but no cigar. These three will stay. 1, 2, 3. Strader to the bottom of Modesty for second. No dice. Just not a lot going on here in this one now. A few cars have retired, and this is a very spread out race now besides our top 3. Strader trying to get past Rusty Modesty, put some pressure back on Matt Hayden, trying to go back-to-back. Hayden looking for his first win since last season. Modesty looking for his first win, period. Halfway at IRP, 125 up, 125 to go. And it's all the same. Again, looking forward to about lap, it'll probably be about lap 170 or so when we see that first green flag pit stop of that second round, probably somewhere in the 165 to 170 range. Coming up on a lap car, that is Michael Wingo again. He will bail to the bottom side of the racetrack. Hayden, Modesty, and and Strader will go on by with no issue. Just past halfway. This race will go by in a hurry. There's 125 laps remain, basically. Hayden continuing to lead over Modesty and Strader. Eldred marginally gaining some time, not much. Same with Carlson and Dupree, but not a ton of gains here for either of those race cars. As we'll come down, 119 laps remain. Modesty now right at the back of the back bumper of Hayden, and a battle for the lead ensues again on lap 132. Modesty has gained some mid-run speed. Now let's see if he has it at the end of the run. But he's gained some speed here in the middle portions of the runs. Strader has been very good on the end of runs and right after a pit cycle. We saw this time he gained on pit road just by undercutting and then started to drive away, and it seemed like this week was going to turn into last week, and Strader was going to drive away and kind of put a whooping on the field, but the caution came out. Hayden and Modesty got back in front of him, and now that's where we sit as the field crosses by lap 134. Modesty still hounding the leader. Hasn't been able to pass him or get alongside him, but he does still hound him. Those two are teammates with Misfits Motorsports. Strader is not far behind them. This is the furthest away he's been, basically all night, from the leader. Modesty continues, though, to hound his teammate. No bonsai moves yet out of the 5 car. He's just trying to keep him at arm's distance here. 114 laps to go. Ooh, Hayden, big wiggle right there. One of the biggest we've seen all night. And Modesty able to close right back up to him. And again, while this is a very close race for the lead, Modesty has yet to get alongside the 6, let alone try to make an attempt at a pass. Set right about a half to a full car length back, up to 2 at times. Lap 140 on the board, next time by 110 to go, and about halfway through this next pit run. Top 3 under a blanket at 141. Strader has once again found some life under the hood of that Reese's Fast Break Good Ranch Service number 29 Monte Carlo, and now he puts pressure on both of the top 2 cars. Again, looking for back-to-back wins. Hayden looking for his first win since middle of last season. Modesty for his first win in the series as a whole. Dupree has made it all the way up to Carlson and Eldred. He's gained about 7/10 on these cars. It'd be an impressive drive if he managed to get back to the leaders after his incident earlier with Hunter Carlson. Michael Wingo, I believe, has called it a night on lap 143. Let's take a look. Let's take a peek here. Well, for now, he sits in the pit box, but no movement out of the 001. Oh, Big trouble for Modesty. He's in the outside wall. And Strader's trying to pounce. Strader to the bottom, ringing that shorter way around this racetrack. But he cannot pass Rusty Modesty. And bottom line, it works for him at times, but at other times it just is not fast enough to make passes. And right now it seems that may be the case. Another big wiggle for Matt Hayden. He's going to have to shallow entry into 3. Schrader still on the bottom of Rusty Modesty. Both cars chasing. Matt Hayden in the 6. 105 laps to go from IRP. Closing in on 100 laps to go now. And we await the next cycle of green flag pit stops. Hayden, Modesty, Strader have driven away from now 3rd place Hunter Carlson. Dupree has lost a little bit of time now in the 5th position. Another housekeeping note for you. Wingo continues to sit on pit road. Actually, I think he might have just exited pit road. He did. He's about 12 laps down. Vicente Guerrero has called it a night as of lap 124. He'll be credited as of now with the 8th position, and that's where he will finish. Top 3 still under a blanket, this time by 100 laps to go. And we'll tick it over to double digits at IRP. Hayden chased by Modesty and Christian Schrader. Let's go now into a detailed rundown of the remainder of the schedule for this Thursday night series. Next week, let's hold that thought battle for a second. Strader this time again tries to ring the bottom. Again, it will not work. Next week to the Pocono Mountains, the tricky triangle at Pocono Raceway. As Tyler Bentley won our first trip there, and Christian Schrader won our last trip there back in Season 2. 2 weeks from now, it'll be the North Wilkesboro Speedway, the historic foothills of Wilkes County, hosts the Throwback Series for the first time. As we go short track racing again at Wilkesboro in 2 weeks' time. Then it's on to the Music City. Well, before we get to that, North Wilkesboro, in that little bit of a progressive track, downhill on the uphill on the front stretch, downhill on the back stretch. Very historic race. Going to be an interesting one with one groove. Going to be interesting to see guys try to pass in that race. That should be a fun one. After that, it's on to the Music City. And Piedmont of Tennessee, as the Nashville Superspeedway makes its first appearance on the Throwback Series Tour. 150 laps at the Nashville Superspeedway. A rough concrete surface, a tire grater to say the least. Not a lot of grip at that place. It's a driver's racetrack and should feature some pretty great racing amongst the front runners that we've traditionally seen run well on those kinds of racetracks. So Nashville Superspeedway 3 weeks from tonight should be a good one. Again, our first trip to the Music City. After that, it's a trip to NASCAR's backyard. It'll be a trip to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for a 134-lap event. on the classic mile and a half. And well, it might be under the lights. We'll wait and see, but it might be under the lights this time for that race. 134 laps on tap at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Multi-groove racing, dynamic track, going to play a part in that one. And that should be a lot of fun. To watch the track come in, to watch guys run up against the fence, guys run on the bottom. That should be really interesting to watch at Charlotte. And then we get to what is on the schedule now as Circuit of the Americas. I believe that's going to be replaced. Now, I can't tell you what it's going to be replaced with yet. It has not been decided on. But I believe that race is going to be replaced with a different track. I know that Road America was in the conversation. Mid-Ohio was in the conversation, so a couple of potential road course changes there for Circuit of the Americas, but as of now, it's COTA. If it's COTA, a very technical road course with a lot of turns, a lot of braking zones, some passing areas, a little bit of everything, a very modern race course. Road America, a little bit more of your NASCAR-style race course, a lot less turns, a lot more straightaways, a little bit more passing opportunities in some of those really slow-down braking zones. And a place that has provided good racing in the Cup and Xfinity Series over the last 15 years. And obviously Mid-Ohio has provided the Xfinity Series with a home for the past a little over a decade. And it's seen some really great finishes. Some bump and run finishes. Maybe that comes into play if we go to Mid-Ohio. That is the road course stop here in about 5 weeks' time. 5 weeks from tonight. 6 weeks from tonight. One of my favorite places, not only on the NASCAR circuit, but in general, the always exhilarating and biggest and baddest track on the NASCAR circuit, Talladega Superspeedway. And it actually times up well. It is about a week before the NASCAR playoffs round of 12 stop at the Talladega Superspeedway for that triple header. The week before that, we'll be racing there in the Thursday Night Throwback Series. Looking forward to that one. After Talladega, we head to the Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum. Now, I will tell you, barring any schedule changes, any races getting postponed, backed up a week, there will be no broadcast for the Bristol Motor Speedway. That race will be on October the 3rd. And there will be no broadcast because I will be en route to my own trip to the Talladega Superspeedway. I will be attending Yellowwood 500 race weekend this year, so unfortunately no broadcast on October 3rd for Bristol, but the last great Coliseum makes a stop. Again, some great racing last season from that place. We head out to the Sin City as pit stops begin here on lap 164. So we'll hold that thought on the last two races. Actually, we'll get it out of the way real quick. We said the Sin City for the penultimate race. It's the first Throwback Series race on the high-speed mile-and-a-half of Las Vegas. Again, multi-groove racing should take center stage there. A very fast racetrack that should provide a lot of thrills and a lot of action for our drivers. And then we close the season on the beaches of Miami, the Homestead Miami Speedway, the place last year that held our championship race, the home of multi-groove racing, the center of multi-groove racing. Will wrap us up for the second season in a row in the Throwback Series. Hayden, Modesty, Carlson, Strader on pit road. Eldred already made his stop. And Isaiah Dupree remains the only car on the pit lane. So Isaiah Dupree will wrap up our second to last pit stop, 84 laps to go, as this race nears its conclusion. Dupree comes to pit road, and the pit cycle will be completed on lap 169. Rusty Modesty undercuts by a lap. He gains the lead for now. Matt Hayden 1.7 seconds back of his teammate. Carlson was actually able to jump on top of Christian Strader for third. As Modesty, bit of a strategy call, pits a lap earlier than the rest of the leaders, and now we'll try to hold off the leader, or hold off the former leader, Matt Hayden, who's led a lot of the laps in this race. It's been a very dominant effort tonight for Matt Hayden, but now coming from behind, he'll have to try to get back past his teammate all before that last pit stop sequence takes place sometime around lap 220. Is when I would expect that to take place, just inside of 30 laps to go. And that would be when I expect people on pit road again. Hayden starting to close. Strader and Carlson, though, not really. They may be out of this one. Strader got by his teammate Carlson, but is still 5 seconds back of the leader with just under 80 laps to go. Oh boy. Well, that was interesting for a moment. Sorry about that. We're back. That was a brief blip. We're back. Modesty by just over a second as his teammate really closes in now, but getting to him is one thing, getting past him another. He'll get there pretty quickly, but can he pass his teammate will become the question. Strader starting to gain time in bunches now from third. So 75 laps to go. It'll be 74 at the line. So Modesty by 3/4 of a second. Strader down to 4.1 seconds back. And still one pit stop to go. I think these three cars are going to magnetize to one another again late in the going of this race. Hayden, well, now not really gaining anything. Now it's back to 8/10, and it starts to stabilize. Closing in on 70 to go. So, 70 laps to go. Hayden about 7/10 of a second back of his teammate Rusty Modesty who has taken control of this race. Christian Schrader is closing 3.75 seconds back for last week's winner. He continues to be the fastest car on the speedway. Last time by 0.2. His teammate Hunter Carlson also faster than the leaders. Isaiah Dupree just ran an even faster lap of 22.64, but he is 13 seconds back. Half a second between Modesty and Hayden, then 3.5 back to Christian Schrader. Battle for the lead is about to ensue. And so here we go. Matt Hayden against his teammate Rusty Modesty for the win in Indianapolis. 65 to go. That last pit stop we imagine will be somewhere around lap 220, which means Hayden now has 35 laps to get back past his teammate and then hope the pit strategy works to his advantage. Schrader is closing and closing quickly, 3 seconds back. Last time by, 1/10 faster than the leader. And Hayden goes on by. Modesty has a moment in turns 3 and 4, and Hayden gets back past him. Schrader is closing in really, really fast. 2.4 seconds back. And now Hayden starts to drive away from Modesty and tries everything he can to put a gap on Schrader. And Matt Hayden now has control back of the race with 63 laps to go. Can he now drive away? Modesty trying to hang around. He's half a second back. Just not able to hang with his teammate. Now Hayden really drives away on the exit of 2. And Matt Hayden now is 1 pit stop away, potentially, from a season-boosting win here at IRP in round 6. Schrader 2.35 seconds back. Marginal gains, if anything, here for Schrader. Last time by, Hayden 22.88 seconds. Modesty at 23.1. Schrader at 22.96 and a 23.01 for Carlson. That time 22.92 for the leader. 23.18 for Modesty, 22.96 for Schrader, 23.03 for Carlson. Hayden is starting to scoot away. 60 laps to go, make it 59 at the line. Again, the pit window opens with about 55 to go. It might be open now. If I was Matt Hayden here, I would not wait for anybody else to come to pit road. When it gets to within 5 laps of the window, or excuse me, 5 laps of the fuel tank being empty, I come to pit road. I'd want to be the first guy on pit road just so that they don't undercut me and I have to run back down. Because with only about 30 laps to go when this pit stop is over with, you're not going to have a lot of time to get back to the leader and then past the leader. So I would be the first guy on pit road. Maybe that's just me. Strader starting to gain some time again. Modesty has lost all of his, 1.5 seconds back. Strader got to within 2.3. $54 laps to go, a pit stop still remaining. Strader just not able to close much. He's going to get at Modesty, but I don't think he's going to get to Hayden. He might if he picks it up just a little bit. Nobody on pit road yet. As just over 50 laps remain from IRP. And Matt Hayden continues to lead. Christian Strader got by Rusty Modesty for the second position, and now we will continue to watch the time difference between Modesty and Hayden for the lead. Strader 2.3 seconds back. One of the best long-run cars in the series now runs second. Can he get any closer than 2.3 seconds? Keep an eye on your scoring tower on the left side of your screen. 50 laps to go. Closing stages here at IRP. Cody Eldred on pit road, an early pit stop, perhaps the undercut. We saw it work wonders earlier. We await now. Does it work wonders again for Eldred? He's on pit road on lap 201. Nobody else on pit road. As Hayden rounds off turn 4. Strader has gotten no closer. As you close in, you're going to have to do something desperate if you're one of those cars out back. Hayden now opens up a 2.4 second lead. Eldred trying to drive away from the leader Hayden so that when he pits, maybe the undercut works. Nobody else of the lead cars has been on pit road yet, but that time is coming in quick. 46 laps to go. The window is now very much open to pit and make it to the end. Still nobody, at least not the leader, going to take it here. Strader going to stay out. Modesty, Carlson, all these cars staying on the speedway. The gap at 2 seconds flat. This is as close as Strader has gotten in 50 laps. He's got a steady pace working now into a good rhythm. 2 seconds, the difference between the leader and the second place car. Carlson is running down Modesty for third. This is for a podium position. Keep an eye on this battle for a moment. Again, look at the scoring tower on the left side of your screen to keep an eye on the gap between Strader and Hayden. Keeping an eye on this battle for third. Modesty will hit pit road, the first of the lead cars. He does it again. He's going to undercut. That gap was 4 seconds. That's a lot to try to make up on pit road. And Hayden, if you see that, you have to now pit. Does Matt Hayden answer? He will. Does Strader answer him? He will. What about Carlson? He's going to stay out. So is Dupree for now, but Dupree's just now working his way off turn number 2. Carlson will stay out. Hayden and Strader to pit road. Modesty down off the jack. He will come off pit road and try to lap back past these two lead cars. Strader really dig into his pit box. This is going to be a race for the win. Carlson still staying on the speedway. 39 to go, 38 at the line. Dupree for now down the backstretch. He'll be staying out as well. Strader overcuts the 6 car. Now here comes Modesty. Does Strader stay in front of him? Oh, it's going to be close. Strader is hopping, and he gets out in front of the 5 car. And Matt Hayden continuing to sit on pit road. A pit road penalty. And a crushing one for Matt Hayden. His efforts at IRP for the win are over. Without a caution. Oh, man. Dupree in the outside wall. Eldred got to within 6 seconds of the leader. That's as close as he could get on the undercut. It will not work. Carlson down off the jack and rolling, but it won't matter. New leader at IRP, Christian Strader once again. 36 to go, 35 at the line. Eldred may have done enough to get inside the top 3. And Isaiah Dupree, we're going to keep it on him for a moment because he's technically the leader. .33 to go. Strader by 13, or excuse me, Dupree by 13 seconds over Strader. And it's Carlson, Eldred, and Modesty. I think Modesty also got a pit road penalty. We're keeping it on Dupree. He still has not pit yet. We're waiting for him to come to pit road. He's going to run it just as long as he can. He ran really long on the last one. This is kind of what I said. He would be able to run it until about lap 220 or so. Modesty goes by Dupree, unlaps himself, or gets one of his laps back. So he must have incurred a pit road penalty as well. I think that gap between Strader and Carlson may be closing. Just a little. As Matt Hayden tries to get one of his laps back. Dupree stretching this as far as he possibly can. It's not really going to help him. Or did he already come to pit road? No, he came to pit road just later than everybody else. Has yet to come on this final pit stop. Now he will relinquish the lead and come to pit road. 3 cars on the lead lap. 26 laps to go from IRP, and Schrader inherits the lead. And I was not wrong. That lead between he and his teammate Hunter Carlson is getting smaller. Carlson was 4.5 seconds back 5 laps ago. He's down to 3.3. And he may just make this a battle for the win. Strader now ticks over 25 to go. His teammate Carlson trying to pick up time and picking up a little bit. The rate he's going, he's going to have to gain about I'd say a little over 1/10 a lap. He's not gaining that right now. Currently 300ths faster than Strader last time by. Inside of 25 laps to go, almost down to 20 laps to go. .20 laps to go. Christian Strader by now 4.2 seconds over teammate Hunter Carlson. Third place Cody Eldred as of right now. Isaiah Dupree runs fourth, and then the 2 cars that got penalties, Rusty Modesty and Matt Hayden, on the last pit stop of the race. So we will wrap this one up from IRP as we will go caution-free, knock on wood, for the last about 135 laps of this race. Strader continuing to lead the way and well on his way to his 2nd win of the year and his 2nd in as many weeks. Safe to say the champ's starting to find his stride. Remember, after this race ends, PGR Esports about to pick up from from Daytona, as the Xfinity Series cars are on track for the PGR Thursday Night Takeover, hosted by McCullough Motorsports. So head over to PGR Esports at the conclusion of tonight's race to check out all the action from there. $15 to go now, and the lead continues to grow. Dupree will go on by the leader. He's trying to run down Eldred for third. He may just do just that. He's already catching the 4 car up in front of him. We may have a battle for third on our hands briefly here in just a moment. 13 laps to go. So Michael Wingo's on pit road. 12 laps to go. Dupree and Eldred will be the battle to watch. Schrader continues to pull away. Well, not for long. Problem is, it's a bit too late for Hunter Carlson. He'd have to gain 4/10 a lap at the pace we're going right now. He gains almost 4/10 that time, but not going to be enough, I don't think, to catch his teammate. As we now cross over, 10 laps to go, the very closing stages of tonight's event from IRP for the OP Throwback Series, as this one about to get wrapped up. We will start to look forward to next week in the Pocono Mountains. Eldred and Dupree, this will be for third. We'll focus on this battle. Dupree has caught the 4, 9 laps to go, now 8. Dupree tries to ring the fence. Eldred throws the block. Dupree crossing over. Battle for third. To the bottom, Dupree drives through the center of the corner. Can Eldred hold on to it? No, he cannot. He'll have to lift out, and Dupree moves to third. 7 laps to go for Christian Schrader at the front. The gap stabilizes just over 4 seconds, and now you can basically cruise here if you're Christian Schrader. Give up a little bit of that 4-second lead and cruise your way on to a victory. This time by 5 more circuits around Lucas Oil Raceway Park. As Christian Schrader can almost taste it. A dominant win last week in Rockingham, one that saw him lead many of the 197 laps of that race. Not quite as dominant tonight. Leads most of the last 80 or so laps of the race. Still going to be a lot of laps led. An impressive performance. He ran no lower than third tonight and ran first or second for about 80% of this race. And now it's 3 laps away from back-to-back victories. He can really just back off, ride behind Matt Hayden, and still stand no risk of being passed, and I think that may be what he's doing. He can definitely afford to do that because Carlson's not gaining 1.75 seconds per lap, even with traffic in front of the leader here. 2 laps to go. Next time by, Strader will see the white flag. Matt Hayden out of the way. Gap down to 3 seconds, but too little too late for Carlson. It still will be a nice run for the 32, just short of the 29. Off turn 4, white flag in the air, 1 lap to go from IRP. Christian Strader, the defending champion, hadn't won the entire first 4 weeks of the season and really had yet to look incredibly impressive. Dominant win in Rockingham last week. Steals one here tonight at IRP in the last 80 laps. He leads most of those. And off turn 4, he's won again. Back-to-back wins. Christian Strader wins at IRP. Hunter Carlson, his teammate, will finish in second. Isaiah Dupree will lock down the 3rd position. And it is another win for the defending champion in a growing Throwback Series legacy. We'll come off turn 4. And he's going to run a few extra laps. Wonder if he knows he's won yet. Now he definitely does. Strader will bring it down to the front stretch. Now, I'm wondering if he didn't know he was on the white flag lap. But now he knows. And now he's going to burn it down on the front stretch at IRP. You will park it on the line. We'll get into the post-race show here briefly. This one's been a bit of a long one tonight. But we'll get into the post-race show results, and then we'll hear from your top 3 tonight at IRP. Christian Strader gets his 2nd win of the season and back-to-back for the defending champion. Hunter Carlson, good run for him. He finishes 2nd. Isaiah Dupree recovers to finish 3rd. Cody Eldred finishes 4th tonight. Rusty Modesty, a rough pit road penalty. He finishes 5th. Matt Hayden, same thing. Crushing blow. With the most dominant car of the night, he finishes in 6th. Michael Wingo finishes 7th. Vicente Guerrero finishes 8th. Anthony Bledsoe 9th. Randy Bledsoe in 10th. And Doug Johnson, the final car on the speedway tonight, in 11th. We're going to go get your top 3 for some post-race interviews. Stick with us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We'll be right back. Welcome back to IRP on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We'll now get into your post-race show and start by talking to the driver who finished in the 3rd position. Let's make sure everything is good over here to hear them so that you all can hear what they have to say. We'll start with the driver who finished 3rd tonight. The 86 of Isaiah Dupree had quite the interesting evening here tonight at IRP, but we'll get to talk to him about his perspective on tonight's race. Hey, Isaiah, it's Dawson in the booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, an interesting run for you tonight, a bit of a roller coaster. We saw you kind of start from the back, drive forward, get involved in an incident with Hunter Carlson about halfway in, and then after that it was smooth sailing for really the whole field, and you were able to drive back to 3rd. Take me through a successful night for you tonight at IRP.
Yeah, certainly an up and down night. A little bit of chaos here and there. Wasn't really sure what to expect with the track. I've never driven IRP until tonight, so just hoping to survive. And honestly, kind of lucked into 3rd place. by just not making mistakes, but that's all you got to do sometimes.
Well, absolutely. The consistency is kind of starting to get back on track now as well. I know I talked to you about it last week in Rockingham. So back-to-back podium finishes. Obviously, a lot of guys missing tonight. It's a big points night for you guys up at the top of the running order. So, what does this do for you going forward here as we get in the middle portions of the season? A night like tonight where you gain this many points, what does this do for your confidence?
Yeah, it's just good to build momentum. It's a little crazy part of the schedule here. Definitely some wacky tracks and some wacky races like we saw tonight. So it's nice to just get the finishes where you can, and hopefully I can pick up a win soon here and get the ball rolling on that.
Well, one spot better this week in the third position for you. So, before we let you go and enjoy this third place finish and a good points night, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you, of course, for a great broadcast. I know it's a smaller field than usual tonight, and then thank Christian and everybody for another great night of racing. Always really fun here, and Alex for the league.
Well, certainly was an interesting one to watch. Congratulations on the third place finish. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one.
Isaiah Dupree in the 86, your third place finisher tonight. That'll move us to the man who finished in second. First podium finish of the season for the 32 machine of Hunter Carlson as he finally gets his way back onto the podium in the Throwback Series. Hey, Hunter, it's Dawson in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, I believe it might be the first podium of the season for you, at least one of the first, as you come home second tonight. A good run, a good points night. I just talked to Isaiah about it. A bit of a wacky race, kind of some chaos in the middle, a smaller field than usual, but in the end, you drive forward to a second place finish. Kind of take me through your strategy here at the end of this race that allowed you to finish second tonight at IRP.
Well, funny enough, my game plan coming in here was just not make a mistake. I've made a lot of mistakes so far this season, and obviously it's shown in my finishes. And I figured maybe if I don't make a mistake for once, I can get a top 5. And with the lack of fields, which to all the fans out there watching, I apologize. We'll get the car count up next week, I promise. But maybe, and I ended up getting third or second. I don't know how that happened, but I guess it happens.
Oh, absolutely. And now this is a momentum builder for you. I know you talked about not making a mistake. Well, tonight, obviously, a good example of that. And with a lot of guys out tonight, like we've kind of mentioned already, this proves to be a big points night for you and several others. So, what does this do for your season? Obviously, not the start to the season that you wanted, but this has got to be a leaping off point for sure.
For sure. It's definitely going to be a good momentum builder. And hopefully I can crank out a couple wins here and over the next few weeks and kind of boost me back into the title battle. But I guess we'll find out.
Well, we certainly will. Well, before we let you go and celebrate this podium finish tonight, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to shout out Studio 86. TJ, I know you're watching. Thank you for sponsoring me. And Christian, he great teammate. We tried to work together a lot tonight and ended up coming away with a 1-2. You don't see that very often with the way some things happen. But good Fast Angry Racing team, top 2.
Well, absolutely a good one to watch as well. So thank you for talking to me. Congratulations on the second place finish. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Dawson.
Hunter Carlson, the 32, your second place finisher, leads us now to the man of the hour and the man who has found his form, the defending Season 2 Throwback Series champion, Christian Strader, back-to-back weeks with a win. He wins again tonight at IRP. Hey, Christian, it's Dawson in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, how you doing, Dawson?
Well, 4 weeks with no wins, now 2 wins in 2 weeks, and it seems like you found your form as the defending champion. Obviously not the dominant performance from Rockingham last week, but the strategy kind of works out for you. The last pit stop, you and Matt Hayden, a half a car length apart. What are you thinking on that last run? What were you preparing for? And then obviously, what was your reaction when Hayden got the pit road penalty and you were able to drive into the sunset?
I'm not too sure. I honestly, I didn't really think about it because it's a tough place to pass. I originally wanted to try to jump him on pit road and pit a lap earlier. But I'm not sure if I had anything for Matt there. He was pretty quick around there tonight. But when I saw that he had the penalty, I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I mean, he was probably just barely over. I watched him go in, and it was so close.
Well, nonetheless, it does happen, and it results in a win. So now, 4 races with no wins. I remember last week you said it was finally nice to just get the first one out of the way. Well, now you've got 2, and all of a sudden with no Trey Galligan tonight, no Hunter Reynolds tonight, a couple other guys missing, Chris McCullough as well, this kind of vaults you back into the points lead and vaults you into the driver's seat in the championship battle in the middle stretch of the season. So kind of tell me what that does for your mindset after, a couple, I won't call them rough starts, but obviously not finding victory lane, not finding the points lead. Now you are vaulted back to that points lead. So, what does that do for you here going forward over the next several weeks?
No, it's a great position to be in. It really fits kind of like how I like to race, which is kind of take a little bit at the beginning to figure things out, find some rhythm, and it really sets up for a good middle half of the season because I don't have to push for tracks like this at IRP or we got Wilkesboro coming up. Kind of keep yourself out of trouble. You don't have to worry about trying to lead all the laps and burning off tires, and being able to just kind of stick around and be there at the end of the races. And I think that'll help out a lot with some of these tracks that we're going to. Is they could pile up some yellows, or also just making a mistake.
Absolutely. Well, tonight ends for you here in Victory Lane. Once again, back-to-back wins for you now at Rockingham and IRP. So before I let you go to enjoy another victory in the Throwback Series, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Of course, give you a thanks. The broadcasts are always awesome. And then a big thanks to Hunter. He always helps me out a little bit going around these places and being a good teammate and working to help me find a little bit of pace, speed, or helping out with race strategy. And then other than that, of course, Alex and everybody that puts this on.
Well, absolutely. Well, thanks for talking to me for a second. Congratulations on back-to-back victories. Go enjoy it, go celebrate, and we will talk to you soon.
Have a good one, Dawson.
Christian Strader in the 29, the race winner tonight from IRP. Well, that's just going to just about do it for our coverage here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Head over to PGR Esports for coverage of the Thursday night takeover at Daytona. Austin Green will have you on the call there over on PGR Esports Network here on YouTube. And that's going to all but do it for me. Coming up next for OP, Saturday night, the Unlimited Series with Josh Medlock on Max Speed TV. Go check that out. Monday night with KR Stolfus back here on Turn 3 Racing Network. The Premier Series is narrowing down to the playoffs. You won't want to miss a thing here on Turn 3 Racing Network at 8:35. And then we are back next Thursday night from the Pocono Raceway in the Pocono Mountains as we look forward to next week, round 7 of 18 of this third season of the Throwback Series. Also a programming announcement, potential programming announcement anyway. The Wednesday night, the Grand National Series for OP. The playoffs are coming up, and I believe they are going to be broadcasted. They're trying to. But we will keep you updated on that next week when we have some more information. If they are going to be broadcasted, we'll give you all the information on that so that you can come out and watch the Grand National Series playoffs with the OP Racing Butt Kicker Grand National Series. It always provides so much fun in the postseason. That's going to do it for me, Dawson Wise on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Thank you so much for spending a Thursday evening with me. Everybody enjoy the weekend of racing in Daytona that gets underway tomorrow night with back-to-back really high-stakes restrictor plate racing from the Daytona International Speedway. Enjoy it. I know I will do so